Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
Good morning, Guam, and thanks for starting your day, the KUAM way. Monday, feels like Monday.
What is Tuesday?
It's Tuesday, I know. So, bright side, we got a short week. Now, let's get the show started. Group chat. This is my show. You know where we do a group chat, and today our group is from the University of Guam. You guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
My name's Alejandro Diaz.
I'm Alexandria Sloan, and we are from.
Hold on, sorry, that's so. Alejandro and Alejandria.
Yeah, there's a little.
Yes.
Not related, right?
No,
Not
not
related.
really.
Okay, good. All right.
Not planned either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys are from which school at UOG?
We are from the Masters of Public Administration, and we are the PA 530 Public Management class.
Right.
Right.
And so we're here because you guys are doing an ethics, leadership, and innovation roundtable. Borrowing your notes there.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, go for it.
That's going on Saturday, and really interesting topic. The topic is what makes an effective public manager.
Right.
Yes.
Right? And very interesting, and I guess this is going to raise a lot of, like one of the main subjects is ethics, right?
Ethics and intergenerational justice for
Right.
the future.
Intergenerational justice, that's like a newfangled term.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
What does that mean?
basically it's basically the administrators or public managers, whatever they decide today will affect tomorrow. So that's what we're trying to bring in, is bringing their experience and their shared knowledge to kind of shape the way we look at for the future, you know, in regards to certain issues.
So whatever decisions they make improve the quality of life for future generations, and it has impacts. So that's basically what we're bringing this together to talk about, you know, ethics and leadership and leading the future.
Sounds kind of like a minefield. I mean, ethics and leadership, politics on Guam. I mean, have you guys at all discussed the way our culture kind of clashes with, you know, what would be considered ethical behavior in maybe other areas? This is, yeah, so let me kind of explain. So I covered this series of stories with the Chamorro Land Trust, and it was kind of a big scandal where people were jumping ahead of the line. You had employees getting this prime land up in Barragata Heights, and what they ended up doing as a result of those stories is they kind of revamping the whole process, and they're instituting what's called degrees of consanguinity, which is basically blood relation, right? But have you guys studied this at all?
No, I have
Yeah,
not.
this is something maybe you get.
Yeah.
This is probably like, you know, fourth quarter, second semester type stuff. This is when you get deep into it. Right. But Guam, our familial ties aren't necessarily blood. It's not decided by blood. For example, like we could be not related by blood, but you could be my party,
Yeah.
or my family might have pug-side you. So I feel like there's a lot of areas that don't get covered, and it's really interesting. Like I just did a story on this. They were trying to do this Guam Film Office thing, and everybody knows the Munya brothers and Speaker Tina Munya Barnes. So I'd asked the speaker, "Hey, well, Munya, is there anything there?" And she was like, "Well, I think the definition of a conflict of interest would be within the first degree of consanguinity." So we apply these stateside kind of
Terminology.
right to things that it's almost like putting a square in a circle on Guam, because it doesn't matter if you know, I mean, the blood relation is not necessarily even the biggest problem most of the time. I mean, if you look at the term pari system, that's got nothing to do with blood, right? And that's
Right.
kind of what people throw out ethically about public managers. So I'm curious, when you guys kind of decide what makes a good public manager on Guam, is there anything that in the discussion that you kind of have to make it almost Guam centric?
Well, I think having the different groups come in, it kind of levels the playing field. Like if we talk about the 4 different panels that we are going to have,
Right.
It kind of broadens the scope.
It
It's
does.
not necessarily political or, you know, academia. It kind of has a little bit mix of both, and it's not just local We have, if you want to go into
With perfect
your
opportunity.
panel.
To
Oh yeah, my,
And so you
Yeah,
guys
so-
do have a wide, I mean, some of the people on this
Scope.
panel,
Yes.
I mean, the experience is there, and I mean, it sounds like a pretty interesting group of people, so who?
Yeah, so the 4 panels that we're going to introduce is we separated is the elected officials, the management, and academia, and the merit system. So the list, actually, it's funny because the first panel, elected leadership, we have former Governor Eddie Baza-Calvo come in. We also got the speaker, Tina Munoz Barnes,
Right,
that's going to
yeah.
attend. We have Professor Dr. Anacito Walter. We have the OPA auditor, Benjamin Cruz. So the second panel of the management.
Well, you guys got pull, huh?
Yeah,
It's hard for us to get some of these guys.
really.
No, I'm just kidding.
But
We work
yes,
hard.
I don't know if you want me to.
Yeah, maybe put in hey, Chris been trying to get a hold of you. No, I'm just kidding. Who else you got?
So for management, we have Dr. Anita Bora Enrique. We also have GPD's chief. We have Steve Ignacio, confirmed. We also have the Port Authority General Manager, Roy Respicio. We have the Consolidated Commissions of Utilities. We have Joey Duenas attending as well. We have Professor Frank Isazaki, Dr. Kelly Sekulo, Dr. Judith Guntherds. We have from the GC, we have Maria Pangilinan.
Right.
Yeah, so
Yeah, we have a wide.
Pretty wide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that it'll kind of level the playing field, I guess, and not really go into different. I mean, it could go either way. I mean,
It could, right.
Right.
Should be a lively discussion, it sounds
Right.
like. Well, I want to ask you guys, what do you think makes a good public manager?
well, I think personally the main thing is putting the interests of the people of Guam before your personal interests. I think that's the bottom line. The reason why they're put in office, is to put the people first and actually represent the island in that way.
Right.
So by basically incorporating the topic of intergenerational justice, it's kind of like we are trying to push them to start thinking about our future, starting to think about the problems that we're going to face in
Right.
the long run. Especially with the Chamorro Land Trust Commission.
Right.
So
I mean, that's a whole Pandora's box.
And then,
Right.
But I mean, I guess one topic that really falls in line with this intergenerational justice is like bond borrowing, right? So we keep borrowing money, and then who's going to end up paying for that? Like our grandkids, my kids.
Great,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Right. So that's something that our leaders should consider, right?
yeah, that's
Yeah, definitely. And I think what makes a good leader would be to think about how it might affect down the line, and probably have a long-term scope. I know that we have immediate needs in Guam society, but also try to meet our immediate needs. And I understand leaders might do the best they could with whatever feasible means they have, but possibly think about the long run and how it might affect our future generations.
It's such an interesting question, what makes a good public manager, because if you look at the people that you guys have on those panels, I mean, a lot of times what makes a good public manager is how close you are with the person who wins the election. I mean, that's the only criteria, right? So I think a lot of what we deal with, especially these public institutions like the prison, like the police department, is it's not the best person, the best public manager we can put in there. It's who did the most for you during the campaign. And so I think that's why we have a lot of these institutions that are just crumbling down around our ears, is because every 4 years, every 8 years, you put some new political hire in there, and then people wonder, why is the prison not working? Well, because you keep changing the leadership every 4 years, and it's people who are experienced in politics and not necessarily the relevant field, right? So that's something that I think is really interesting when we talk about what makes a good public manager, because again, going back to one of the popular sayings, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And I think that a lot of times, like a lot of these people on the panel, may only be in the positions they're at because of politics. So I think that's something that's worthy of discussion. I mean, maybe, like I said, this is like fourth quarter stuff. Because it kind of, you know what I mean? It's kind of, I mean, that's the whole thing that we really need to look at, is we're having all these ethical questions because, people are loyal to their political boss, and not necessarily, like you said, I totally agree with you. I think a good public manager should have the public's interests, not their boss's interests. And that's it. My take. Kind of radical, but you know, it's common sense. Right, and so let's talk more about this forum going down Saturday.
Yes, it's Saturday. It's at the School of Business and Public Administration, and it's room 131, and it's the ITN lecture hall. It's from 9 to 12 p.m.
How's the format gonna go? Or is it gonna be question and answer, or does someone kind of just kick off the discussion?
Yeah, well, there's going to be the students actually, the graduate students developed questions already for the panel, so.
Ask me some, let's go.
Really?
What kind of questions you got? Yeah.
Well, that's why you're going to have to show up for our event, so you can.
Oh, it's a secret,
yeah,
right,
right.
right, yeah, good.
Attend and
Cool.
participate. So.
So is it gonna be, you guys think it's gonna be a lively discussion?
I think so. We have, all
Right.
different areas.
Pretty
so,
wide spectrum of
right,
people.
and then, they can lean on each other, or they can discuss. I think it'll be quite interesting, so.
Especially bringing, administrators even from GMH. We
Right.
have Lillian Posada that just
Ooh.
confirmed. Yeah,
Right,
she'll
yeah.
be attending too as well. So,
Crazy.
so we have the Port Authority, we have GMH, we have the the educational professionals coming in as well. So they're going to give us their ins and outs and their experience on what they basically went through in regards to like issues in the past, or
Right.
whether they're current issues in the present, and hopefully it can guide us more to.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting that you have kind of people from both sides of the aisle. You have like your Republicans and then your Democrats. So I think it's gonna be cool to see the different perspectives.
Right.
And then kind of, let's talk about the work that you guys put into this, because this is a big deal for you guys as grad students.
Right.
Yep.
It's, been planned for the last, I would say, over a month now. First is narrowing down who we want to, invite, and getting confirmation, and developing the content of our, roundtable and discussion. So, I mean, for me, I'm here talking about it, it's come to fruition, but leading up to it, it's been, challenging, because, some of us are not really versed in this public hindsight, and I don't know necessarily all who's going to attend.
Yeah, but that's why we're bringing in the professionals to kind of
Right.
help us with the.
We don't take everything they say at face value, though.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Right, yeah, so that's gotta be critical thinking. I mean, it's an important part of what you guys do at UOG, right?
Mm-hmm.
In what way?
In regards to what?
Critical thinking.
Oh yeah. Well, obviously everyone has their own ideas and ways they want to go about certain issues, and what's happening with the School of Business and obviously Public Administration, they're giving us the foundation to
Right.
kind of create our own path to kind of view things politically, ethically, etc., like your leadership. And we read the news, we follow it. There's a lot of good stuff that we cover in class, where it's like we talk about waste management, we talk about all these current events, so it's something that
I'm pretty sure that's pretty interesting, the discussions in class. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
ethically, I mean, God, it's like every week there's some story coming out where you're just like, oh.
exactly, yeah. Oversight hearings,
Right,
and,
right, yeah.
Back to what I was saying, they give us this platform, so not only are we learning it textbook or what, right, we're learning the concepts, but now we're applying it, and having people in our community come in and actually come together, and we're kind of living what we learn in the textbook.
Right.
Right.
And that's kind of cool, because this, for what you guys are studying, the school you're in, is that the end game to maybe go into public service in one way or another?
that could be one route. Another route is, at least from my understanding, is we come in as administrators as well. We look at the structure, we look at the policy, we look at the rule of law, we look at we look at that angle in regards to the legality of it, the support, from the legislature, it's a big deal in our field, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, is that what you guys want to do with this education? Is maybe, are we going to see like Alejandria for senator one day, or Al for mayor?
Who knows?
Maybe.
We don't know.
You heard it here first.
That's why it's called the future, because we don't know.
There you go. That's why it's called the future.
Yep, that's why it's called
Okay. So let's do one last pitch here, guys. Saturday.
Yep.
Saturday, 9 to 12, School of Business and Public Administration at UOG, room
131.
131, ITNE lecture hall, and hopefully you guys all come and join us.
Right. Are we doing any service hours or anything
What is
for
it?
maybe high school students who come to this forum and maybe want, you know, what service hours are?
Yes, I would think this would be an ideal.
It would be.
But that's up to the teachers. Hopefully you hear us
Right.
right now.
Yeah. So I guess you know, I mean, I'm thinking high school students, especially who are leaning more towards civics or government, would really find this
Seniors.
really interesting.
Right.
Nice.
Yes.
In closing, Al, who's going to take us home here?
Well,
Oh, me? Yeah. Oh, because it's my show. Right.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you
Alejandra.
so much.
Look for these guys on a ballot near you sometime in the near future. And hey, go check it out. I mean, definitely ethics and leadership is a subject that we could just go on and on about here in Guam. So it's going to be, I think, very informative to see how this diverse panel tackles this issue. And you know, one thing I like about the panel is there's no shortage of people who are willing to talk about things head on. You know, the public auditor, he doesn't mince words. Governor Calvo, he doesn't run from you know, a challenge. So I think it's going to be the dynamics definitely going to be interesting, right?
It is.
Yeah. So hey, from the University of Guam, Alejandro Diaz and Alejandria Sloan.
Yes.
My name's Chris. This has been GroupChat. You check them out Saturday. Until then, hasta adios.